I listen to American Timelines.
I listen to American Timelines.
I listen to American Timelines while I poop.
While I poop.
While I poop.
American Timelines is a member of the Queen City Podcast Network, powered by Ortho Carolina. Find out more at queencitypodcastnetwork.com.
It's the greatest podcast ever.
History for jerks.
Samantha, that's a hickey.
So now I'm obsessed with time. Come on, tell me about the time. Had it all in my hand tonight. Had the time of my life. When the words all come down like blues on Tuesday.
Welcome to another episode of American Timelines. I'm Amy.
And I'm Joe.
Oh my God, it's Joe.
What?
It's Joe.
Why are you surprised? We do this pod. We've done 86 of these, 87 of these episodes. I'm always here. Why are you so surprised?
Well, because usually the show is introduced by somebody different.
No, that's your opinion.
Yeah, I guess it is. This is a podcast that brings you all the crazy, nostalgic, interesting things from the past.
It's the fucking greatest podcast you've ever heard.
Yes.
Stop listening to all other podcasts. Only listen to this one.
And today we are in the smack middle of 1965.
Oh, we are smack in the middle.
I guess we're in the early part of 1965, actually.
Yeah, so we are in 1965. We've done one episode of 1965. For some reason, we did 7 episodes on 1964. And,
oh, my God.
Yeah.
Was it 7?
It was 7.
Holy crap.
So that we can't keep doing that. We can't. Nobody wants to.
Nobody cares
stay
that
in
much
1
about
year
all that
long.
shit.
Yeah. So we need to get this going. Just kind of dabble in the minutia.
Yep. So we are going to try to cover 3 whole months.
Thursday, April 1st, 1965.
Yes.
The Sound of Music was released, and it was the Best Picture winner that year.
The hills are alive with the sound of music.
That sucks. Anyway, that's a terrible movie, probably. I've never seen it. I can't even fathom a situation in which I would want
enjoy
to watch
that?
it. Yeah, like why would I
It's
ever...
supposed to be one of the best musicals ever.
But what? Like,
You know what? I've never seen it either.
You haven't?
Mm-mm.
I mean, every preview I've ever seen, there's not one
It's about...
second.
It has to do with
is entertaining
Nazis
to
and
me.
stuff.
Oh, it is? I have
Yeah.
no idea. All I know is that blonde
There's
woman...
a whole story, I
That
think.
blonde woman in the dress
Julie Andrews.
singing outside as she's twirling. Like, there's not
Yeah.
one...
Well, that's all you know about it.
thing about it that makes me want to see it. It's okay. A woman leaves an Austrian convent to become a governess to the children of a naval officer widower.
Mm-hmm.
Directed by Robert Wise. Starring Julie Andrews, Christopher Plummer, and Eleanor Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Julie Andrews sang Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious to the children in the cast to entertain them between shooting. Since Mary Poppins hadn't yet been released, they thought she was just making up that song for them. Isn't that funny?
That's funny.
Yep.
But it was a real song from Mary Poppins.
It was a song from
I didn't know
Mary
if you were going to
Poppins.
say
They didn't know
that or if you were going to say that they heard it and they liked it so much they put it in Mary Poppins.
Nope.
Huh.
Nope. Carmian Carr, who played Liesel.
Uh-huh.
She was 21 at the time, and she wrote in her autobiography that she was attracted to the 35-year-old Christopher Plummer, who played her father.
Oh, weird.
Plummer admitted that the feeling was mutual, but insists that it didn't get beyond mere flirtation.
Yeah, right. She was how old? 21?
She was 21, he was 35.
That's kind of a stretch.
You think?
A little bit. I mean, it's not creepy. You know? It's not... I mean, 21, you're an
60,
adult.
65 and 21 is more creepy.
Right. Or 35 and 18. For some reason, that's creepy.
That's worse. Or 35 and 12.
Well,
That's real bad.
That's real bad.
When Maria is running through the courtyard to the Von Trapp house in I Have Confidence, I guess that's a song, she trips. This was an accident. However, director Robert Wise liked this so much that he kept it in the movie.
Okay.
He felt it added to the nervousness of the song and the character.
That's probably a good call.
Yeah.
Live from Santa Monica, California, the annual Academy Awards.
Monday, April 5th, 1965 was the 37th Academy Awards ceremony in Santa Monica Civic Auditorium, honoring movies released in 1964. For the first time, an award was presented in the field of makeup.
Oh, okay.
The Best Picture winner of 1964, director George Cukor's My Fair Lady, was about the transformative training of a rough-speaking flower girl into a lady. We already talked about that.
We did talk about it.
Now it's my privilege to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, a man who needs no certification for the position, inasmuch as this is his 12th appearance for the Academy. No man has done more to represent Hollywood at its finest, to America and the world, than this splendid gentleman, Mr. Bob Hope.
It was hosted by Bob Hope.
Okay. Always.
Yeah, as always. This year was the 14th time Bob Hope hosted it.
Wow.
It was a star-studded show, including an appearance by Judy Garland, who sang a medley of Cole Porter songs.
I bet she was. I wonder if she was looking rough yet.
Judy Garland? Mm-hmm. She looks rough later, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, this is the only time in Oscar history where 3 films got 12 or more nominations. Beckett and My Fair Lady each received 12, while Mary Poppins received 13.
I had never heard of Beckett. Did we talk about that?
I think it's about Ted Danson.
Okay. What's next?
Oh, that's it? Just skim on past the Oscars.
We got to go quick.
Saturday, April 10th, 1965. We got a new #1 song on the Billboard chart by Freddie and the Dreamers. Mm-hmm. You know who Freddie and the Dreamers are?
Mm-mm.
I'm telling you now. I'm telling you right away. You don't...
I mean...
It sounds familiar, right?
Yeah, I think so. I just don't know the band.
Yeah, I'm Telling You Now by Freddie Garrity and Mitch Murray. Originally performed by Freddie and the Dreamers, that hit #1 in American Billboard Hot 100 in 1965. Murray also wrote songs for other British artists during the 1960s, including Jerry and the Pacemakers, Manfred Mann, and Georgie Fame.
Okay.
Anyway, the dancing by Freddie and the band during this song spawned a minor dance fad called the Freddie.
Oh.
And you can watch this on YouTube. Mm-hmm. It's possibly the dumbest fucking dance I've ever seen.
And you've seen The Hustle.
It's basically... I don't think I've seen The Hustle, have I?
Oh, it's basically a line dance.
So look up on YouTube this dance. It's basically the guys just kicking their legs. Like, kick one leg and then the other leg, and then one leg and the other leg. I'm telling you. And then the actual dance, these guys all have instruments and stuff. Mm-hmm. But the actual dance, there's another video called Do the Freddy, where they're doing jumping jacks, kind of like one leg and then the other leg, one leg and the other leg, the whole time.
Oh my God.
It's got to be exhausting.
Yeah.
People in the 60s were nuts.
Yeah, the dancing was a little out of control.
Dancing was stupid and ridiculous. Like, you can't watch it now and not think it looks ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But I'm, from now on, going to do the Freddy.
Yes.
At every wedding.
I think that's a good idea.
You look like an idiot. I would call it the Jackass. That's it's a version of a dance we did at the Huron Playhouse in Huron, Ohio.
Well, that was what you called it. That's right.
That's what it was. Anyway, Wednesday, April 21st, 1965, when McDonald's first became a publicly traded company on this day, many Wall Street brokers were wary as they had never heard of it. McDonald's celebrated its 10th anniversary by initiating its first public stock offering at $22.50 per share. After its first day as a publicly traded company on this day, April 21st, the stock had soared to $30 per share, and its owners became millionaires.
Wow. Can you imagine having something like that happen? And just one day you're like, oh, we're millionaires now.
It doesn't seem like that high, $22.50 per share to $30.
I don't know. I don't know anything about the stock market.
How it works either.
I wish I did.
8 billion shares.
I wish I was like a wizard at that, but I did.
Would you you'd wish for that, but would you take that in exchange for not being racist?
What?
Like
I'd be rich, but I'd be real racist.
You can be rich, but you have to be really racist.
So I'd basically be Donald Trump.
Yeah, I guess.
No.
Or would you do it in exchange for never have an orgasm again? You'll never have an orgasm the rest of your life, but you'll be rich.
That's tempting.
You would like that. Or what if you can never shit again? You just like...
What? All right, let's move on.
All your turds just stay built up in your body, but
this
you're
is
rich.
going downhill fast.
And you have to have them surgically removed by a garbage man.
Okay.
that has no skills in surgery. Would you take that?
Yeah, I think so.
You would do that?
I think that sounds fine.
Okay. What if you took
No,
your
no, no. We're
expertise
we're moving on.
Oh, I got so much
No,
more
I
of
know
it.
you do.
All right. Would you rather sit in a hot tub full of diarrhea or...
Stop it.
Okay. All right. Wednesday, April 21st, that same day that McDonald's went public or whatever, the Beach Boys appeared on a show called Shindig,
Yeah.
performing their most recent hit, Do You Want to Dance?
Are you going to play it?
It's a YouTube video. You want me to play it?
I don't know. Why'd you bring it up?
I don't know. I don't know why I have this. It's not that...
It's not even that
If
big
you
of a
watch
deal.
it, like girls are screaming like the Beatles, but the guys look like like they
Nerdy.
look old.
Yeah.
Old when they were young, they look like old guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I even mentioned it.
They were so like clean cut, kind of compared.
Yes, and they were wearing like striped shirts.
Yeah.
and I don't know. I don't think it was that exciting, but you can hear if you watch it on YouTube. There's a YouTube video for it.
All right.
Do You Want to Dance?
What else?
Women Are Screaming. Sunday, April 24th, 1965, we got a new #1 song on the Billboard chart by Wayne Fontana and the Mindbenders,
This is a good one.
The Game of Love.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, Wayne Fontana, I couldn't find anything interesting about this song.
Yeah.
But Wayne Fontana, I've discovered after doing some research, is nuts.
Oh.
In 2005, he fought off bankruptcy, but was arrested after police were called by bailiffs who went to his home in Glossop, Derbyshire. Mm-hmm. He poured petrol on the bonnet of a bailiff's car.
And so the hood.
Set it, the hood, yeah.
Yeah.
They called it a bonnet there.
Yeah.
Oh, lift up the bonnet.
Yep.
Let's see the engine. Anyway, he set it afire. We set it alight, as they say.
So he lit the car on
He
fire.
lit the car on
basically?
fire with the bailiff still inside.
Oh my God.
Fontana was remanded in custody on the 25th of May, 2007. He later appeared at Derby Crown Court dressed as Lady Justice,
Oh my God.
complete with a sword, scales, crown, cape, and dark glasses.
I love it.
And claiming justice is blind.
Oh my God.
He dismissed his lawyers on the 10th of November of 2007, and he was sentenced to 11 months for setting fire to the car, but was released because he had already served the equivalent of the term, having been held under the Mental Health Act of 1983.
Oh my goodness. So he's just.
And then in
off
March
of his
2011,
nut.
he was arrested at the Palace Theater after failing to appear in court in Wakefield over an unpaid speeding fine. But he still continues to perform, notably
Does he really?
in solid silver 60s shows. Like,
Yeah, like all the old people get
old guys
wheeled
get
back
together.
out. and-
Yeah, right. Yeah. A lot of those old people are still performing.
Yeah, it's sad.
So, yeah, he's nuts. And that, I think that, was that a Sunday? That same day? No, the next day, Sunday, April 25th, 1965, was the 65 NBA World Championship Series.
Okay.
It was the Lakers and the Celtics. And the Celtics made their 9th straight trip to the championship finals after beating the Sixers in a highly contested Eastern Division finals that ended in John Havlicek's steal of the ball. The Lakers made it to their third finals in 4 seasons after beating Baltimore in 6 games, although it came at a cost as Elgin Baylor suffered a knee injury that would sideline him for the rest of the playoffs. The Celtics, or as I like to call them, the Celtics, won the series over the Lakers 4-1.
All right.
But in the closing minutes of the game, ABC cut away to a previously scheduled program, Wagon Train.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
They don't know why they did that, but that's famous. Wednesday, April 28th, 1965. My Name is Barbara Streisand. My Name is Barbara. Barbara Streisand's first TV special aired on CBS.
Oh, I bet you can't wait to look that one up and watch the whole thing in its entirety.
It features a graphic close-up of Barbara Streisand's anus.
No.
No, it doesn't. I don't know.
No, why
I don't
do
know
you gotta
anything
go
about
there?
it. I just, because it's, what else are you going to do? And here is drunken American television director Dwight
So, do you remember how
Hemian.
long the show was?
An hour. 1 hour. My name is Barbara. 1 hour.
And it was just her?
Barbara alone on that show, yes. And CBS didn't want her to do. They wanted her. They didn't want her to do a show alone by herself. I remember that as being a big problem. They didn't think that she could carry a show by herself.
How about you? What do you think?
I think she could carry it. I didn't know whether she'd get a rating, and as it turned out, it wasn't a big rated show. A lot of people didn't know Barbara those days.
Yeah.
Saturday, May 1st, 1965. See, we're chugging along. We're already in May. Another number one song by the Herman's Hermits.
Oh.
Are you familiar?
Gosh, I know I'm going to love this song.
And you probably won't. Mrs. Brown,
Oh,
you've
yeah.
got a lovely daughter. So the band never dreamed this would be a single, let alone hit number one in the U.S., because it was well known to British bands. Often people would perform this at birthday parties, substituting
really?
the surname of the girl whose party it was. So they'd say Mrs. Smith or Mrs. Jones or Mrs. Brown. So it was just something they do.
It was like Happy Birthday
It's
or
like,
something.
Yeah, like singing Happy Birthday. But for some reason,
It caught
went
on.
number one
Yeah.
here. Yeah. This is written by British actor, screenwriter, and songwriter Trevor Peacock.
Okay. There's another one that they sing.
It was originally
I think
sung,
they might sing Henry VIII.
Yeah, I think they do, something like that. It was originally sung by actor Tom Courtenay and the Lads, a British TV play of 1963. So
Okay.
that's why it became like well known, I guess. And then Friday, May 7th, 1965, Owen Hart, born in Calgary, Alberta, into the Hart wrestling family, was the youngest child of Stu and Helen Hart. He grew up in a household with 11 siblings.
That's all we need to
Smith,
know about that.
Bruce, Keith, Wayne, Dean, Ellie, Georgia, Brett, the Hitman, Allison, Ross, and Diana. It's weird that they named one of their kids Brett the Hitman. The other ones just have regular
Yeah, that
names.
is weird.
That's weird. But some people don't know this, but Jim the Anvil Neidhart was not a Hart. He was a Neidhart.
Nobody cares.
Most people strive to be Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
All right. What's next?
From now on, every
No.
podcast will be about Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
No.
It should be. Saturday, and Owen Hart, though, he's the one, you know about him, right? He's the one that tragically died.
Oh, yeah,
He
that's right.
fell
We
from the
covered
rafters. Yeah, it's awful. Anyway, Saturday, May 22nd, 1965. We have another number one song.
It's a hit
Just
parade.
getting these songs going, baby, because I don't have much else. This is the Beatles. It was written by John Lennon. Sure got a ticket to ride. This was credited to Lennon and McCartney. Issued as a single in April 65.
It's a good one.
But you know how a lot of these songs were credited to Lennon and McCartney?
Yeah.
And sometimes they argue about who wrote more of it.
Yeah.
In 1980, John Lennon said that McCartney's contribution was limited to the way Ringo played the drums.
Oh, boom.
But in his 1997 authorized biography, Paul McCartney contradicts this, saying, "We sat down and wrote it together. Give him 60% of it. We sat down together and worked on that for a full 3-hour songwriting session."
Wow.
So they disagree on that.
Yeah.
John Lennon also claimed that this was the first heavy metal record ever made.
What?
This song.
I don't think so.
He did. He claimed this is the first heavy metal song.
That's when he was starting to do drugs.
Well, he claims the end of it is heavy metal. Like when you
Yeah, I know what part, yeah.
My baby don't care. Like when it gets fast. Is that heavy metal?
No.
My baby don't care. My fucking baby don't care. Yeah, that's how it really sounds. Okay, that's heavy metal.
Mm-hmm.
And then Monday, May 24th, 1965, Ruth Fertel,
Okay.
realizing she needed to earn more money to send her sons to college, found a classified ad in the local paper in New Orleans offering a restaurant for sale, the original Chris's Steakhouse, a 60-seat restaurant at 1100 North Broad Street in New Orleans. When she realized that it had originally opened on February 5th, 1927, the day she was born, she took this as an omen. Ignoring the advice of her banker, lawyer, and friends, she mortgaged her house to purchase the restaurant, even though the business had previously failed 6 times under the previous owner, Chris Matulich. And despite knowing nothing about the restaurant business, she did it anyway. She initially planned to raise just $18,000 to cover the purchase price, until it was pointed out to her that she would need an additional $4,000 to cover the cost of renovations and food. On her first day, May 24th, 1965, she sold 35 steaks at $5 each. Within 6 months, she had made over double her annual salary from her previous job. Ruth Fertel personally took a hand in every part of the business. She had to teach herself how to butcher steak, and despite being just 5'2" and 110 pounds, she would saw up 30-pound short loins by hand
Where are we learning about
until
this?
she could afford an electric bandsaw. She staffed her restaurant with single mothers, saying that they wwere hard workers and reliable.
Is this the original Hooters or something?
No, for many years, Chris's Steakhouse was the only upscale restaurant in New Orleans with an all-female wait staff. And because her name was Ruth, she changed the name from Chris's Steakhouse, but she wanted to keep Chris, so she called it Ruth's Chris's Steakhouse.
Yeah.
Ruth Chris. You've heard of Ruth's?
No.
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse?
No, I have not.
It's like the biggest steakhouse in the whole country. It's everywhere.
I have no
From
idea.
the beginning, her restaurant attracted local politicians as well as athletes, businessmen, and reporters, and Fats Domino was a regular. Ruth's Chris.
I have
But
never
everybody-
heard of it.
You've never heard of Ruth's Chris?
No,
Steakhouse?
no.
But everybody's always like, why is it called Ruth's Chris? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Ruth's
And that's why.
Chris.
Why did she
And that's
take?
why.
Why didn't she just take the name Chris out?
She should have just called it Ruth's, but she kept Chris for some reason.
That's weird.
Ruth's Chris. Ruth Chris.
Well, I'm glad we know that little story.
Yeah, but she only employed all females.
That's good.
Single women.
That is good.
And then on Thursday, May 27th, 1965, possibly the greatest thing that ever happened in the 60s, all together, of all the 60s, the greatest single event, Todd Bridges was born.
I knew it was going to be some asshole birthday.
What do you mean, asshole?
Yeah, I knew it.
Why asshole?
Because you're an asshole for keep putting them in here.
Todd Bridges, do you know who he is?
Yes, I know who Todd Bridges is.
Who is he?
He was Willis.
He played Willis on Different Strokes. But do you know he's a hero? He's an American hero. In 1998, Bridges and his brother James were credited with saving the life of Stella Klein, a 51-year-old paraplegic woman. The woman nearly drowned when her wheelchair rolled into a lake while she was fishing. Klein said,
What's she doing out there fishing in her wheelchair?
She said, I was thanking God that he was there. You know, everybody's been saying nothing but bad stuff about Todd Bridges in the news and the papers, but he has a heart of gold. And she said, God put Willis there at the right time to save this lady's
Oh
life.
my God.
Because there was no one else around. So she said she fell in the water, she was drowning, and she was like,
Do you think that was a publicity stunt?
She just prayed to God to send Todd Bridges to save her. Boy, I wish Willis was here.
I think
One
that
of the
was a
cast of
publicity
Different
stunt
Strokes.
because he did have a bad reputation.
Yeah, but also in a 2010 appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show, Todd Bridges said he was sexually abused at age 11 by a publicist.
By
who
Gordon
was,
Jump?
Who was also a family friend. It was probably Gordon Jump. No, we shouldn't put that out there. That was
No.
that was a
fictionalized.
That was only Dudley that he raped, and that was a character that he played. Gordon Jump is not a rapist, as far as we know.
I just
Saturday-
remember in that episode, you were relieved at the end that Gary Coleman didn't get raped. Nobody
But you
cared.
didn't- no, you didn't give a shit.
Nobody
Oh,
gave a shit
oh,
that
at least-
Dudley got raped.
Yeah, at least Dudley was.
Yeah,
the one
everybody was,
raped.
oh, phew, that was a close one. And it's like, wait a minute.
And now we can
there
go,
was still a child that was raped.
Oh, it's just Dudley.
I know. What is that?
Dudley deserves all the sexual abuse. Yeah, that is terrible.
It is.
Well,
Yeah,
I guess
what
we
are you
need to
gonna
take
do?
it off the air. And then Saturday, May 29th, 1965, the Beach Boys take over the #1 spot on the Billboard charts, knocking the Beatles off with a song written by Brian Wilson with additional lyrics by Mike Love.
Help me, Rhonda.
Yep. The first recording session of this was interrupted by the Wilson brothers' drunken father, Murray, who criticized the band's performance and enthusiasm. His criticisms drove Brian to the breaking point.
This was Brian Wilson's dad?
Yeah. Brian screamed expletives, removed his headphones, and confronted his father. Shortly after defending his actions, Murray left the studio and the Beach Boys continued. The recording reel continued to record the confrontation, which circulates among fans.
Wow.
Which we should probably do a quick little search for that.
I just want to make sure this is on tape.
This is an absolute insult.
Well, you're doing the same to me
You're
in
an
front
ingrate
of 20
when you do
people.
this. Okay,
Now, let me see.
forget
What
it.
else have we got?
Let's go there. I'm sorry. I'll never help you guys mix another fish.
Why?
Because you don't appreciate the good help Chuck Britz and I have given you. You
Don't
took a
appreciate the
beautiful
help.
gift, and then you guys start coming off.
Okay.
Now listen, let me tell you something.
Yes.
When you guys get so big that you can't sing from your hearts, you're going downhill.
Downhill.
Downhill. Let's go down. I'm sorry. Give me the kid. I'm sorry.
Hearts?
So Al was too loud, but we wanted to make him sing with confidence. He needs it.
That doesn't make him sing with he can't hear you turn the knob.
You could tell the guy's drunk.
So I have to
Murray.
Huh? No, I want to get
Son, I'm sorry. I've protected
50-50 world, mother.
I've protected you for 22 years, but I can't go on if you're not going to listen to an intelligent man. Against many people that tried to hurt you.
Are you
Okay?
going now?
No. This is awfully unfair for you to...
Are you going or staying? I want to know.
It's according to what you want. If you want to fight for success, I'll go all out.
No, I don't. We don't do that.
You think you got it made?
No, we don't.
Son?
We would like to record under an
love
atmosphere
you.
of calmness,
I
and you're
love
not
you. Your
presenting that.
mother loves you.
Look, we like to relax in a
First of
session.
all, you should never have all these people here.
Second of all, who's
Second
but
of all,
they're not saying anything.
you
You're the one
forget
who's
to
talking.
sing from your hearts. Carl,
Uh-huh.
Dennis was flatting, Mike was flatting on his high notes, Al was tight. I try to give you tips, and you think because you've had a few hits, you got it made. Son, success has never comes easy. You have to fight for it all the time.
What quotes you in the industry?
And son, remember this. You always have to fight for success because it comes from your heart.
He's so
Success
drunk.
never
Are
comes
you-
from a phony singing for money.
Why don't
You
you
have
go-
to sing from your
Why don't you go
heart.
tell Johnny Rivers that, not us.
I don't care who you tell. Dick Dale, Capitol Records, anybody. You sing from your heart.
These damn Capitol Records, anybody.
Sorry, dear.
Friday, June 4th. We're already in June. See,
All
not so
right,
bad.
good.
Friday, June 4th, 1965, the launch of the Gemini 4 space mission is broadcast in color by NBC. All three networks would carry the launch of Gemini 5 in color that August and all subsequent manned space launches. And then on Saturday, June 12th, 1965, we got another number one song on Billboard charts by the Supremes.
Okay.
Written and produced by Motown's main production team of Holland, Dozier, Holland.
Mm-hmm.
Back in My Arms Again.
That's right.
Was the fifth consecutive and overall number one song for the group on the Billboard Hot 100 Pop Singles chart in the United
They were holding their own with the Beatles and the Beach Boys.
They don't fuck around.
Yeah.
Them Supremes. And you know
like
what?
you don't think of them as the same level as the Beach Boys and the Beatles, but they kind of were at this time.
Well, and I think more props go to Holland, Dozier, Holland. Because all these Motown hits were written by those guys and made. You know,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like all these Supremes, all the
Yeah.
Tops and Temptations and everybody. Like,
Let's hope they're not white guys.
no, they're not. They're three cool black guys. And Dozier, I looked him up and there's something about him. He's related to somebody.
All right, that's a good
Anyway,
story.
He went to high school in...
No.
I'm just kidding. Anyway, this is a good song, despite what you say about it.
Yeah, it's good.
Saturday, June 19th, 1965. Another one by Holland, Dozier, Holland.
Mm-hmm.
By the Four Tops. One of the best songs ever. Sugar Pie Honey Bunch.
Oh, Sugar Pie Honey
Holland,
Bun.
Dozier, Holland. Don't fuck around, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're all born in Detroit, I think. This is one of the most well-known Motown recordings of the 60s and among the decade's biggest hits. Rolling Stone magazine ranked this number 415 on their list of the 500 greatest songs of all time.
Okay.
It's been covered extensively since 1965, including versions done for several television commercials.
It was so overplayed in movies and stuff.
Yeah,
it kind
that's
of ruined it
kinda
for
too
me.
much.
It's like My Girl, the same way.
Yeah,
it's just
I
like
guess.
been so overplayed.
Oh, so if you don't like My Girl so much, why did you ruin someone else's wedding by
All
making it your song? Okay, and then on Wednesday, June 23rd, 1965, I understand that you have some stupid bullshit or whatever it is.
Oh, yes.
You want to take a break real quick?
Sure.
And hear a message from our sponsor, a new podcast that you can look for in the future.
Oh, my God. Just skip ahead a few minutes
Just listen
here.
to this quick ad about a cool new podcast coming to you soon. You're going to love it. History for Jerks presents Sanding Stories, a new storytelling podcast where people tell stories while sanding objects. Here's a small preview. I lit the bottle of it, threw it in the front yard, not realizing the police car was coming. Sure enough, the bottle, and just as the police car was in front of the house, it hit the back window, so I ran into the house, took my shirt off. I had real bad gas. Sanding Stories by History for Jerks. Look for it wherever you listen to podcasts in early 2024. And now, back to American Timelines. June 23rd, 1965, the same day that Dawn Whiteham was born, a bodybuilder from New London, Connecticut.
Yes.
And the same day John Chip McKibben II, a rower from Balboa Island, California, was born. That same day?
That same day.
Oh my God, everybody remembers those days.
Historic
The
day.
same day Mary Boland died, the actress from Boy Trouble.
Yep. That's it. So
She
I'm
died
going to
of-
talk about the Icebox Murders.
Miserable death. The Icebox Murders. What
Yeah.
could that be?
So
Oh boy, here we go.
the first thing that Houston Police Captain Charles Bullock noticed as he entered 1815 Driscoll Street this evening of
How much did
June
Charles Bullock?
23rd.
How much did he weigh?
The first thing he noticed was that someone didn't want him to use the back door.
Uh-oh, don't use
Flower
that back-
pots had been stacked against the entrance, forcing him and his partner to push their way inside.
Wait, this is at the police station?
No, at 1815 Driscoll Street.
How do I know that's not an address of a police station? How can I have every...
Why would they put flower pots to block the entrance to a police station?
Maybe they didn't want the police to
Will
get
you
in
just
the-
try to follow me, please?
No, what city is this in?
So while
Driscoll Street where?
Houston.
Oh, Houston, Texas.
I said.
I don't remember.
While
I forgot.
Barta moved through the rest of the home, Bullock headed for the kitchen.
Okay, as you would. As a
They were there
detective who's
because
fat.
they were performing a welfare check on the house's occupants, who were an elderly couple named Fred and Edwina Rogers.
So just checking to make sure they're alive, because
That's right.
old people die.
Because the nephew, Marvin Martin, had grown concerned when he failed to reach them by telephone.
Hold on a second. Marvin Martin, y'all. That was for Brian McCartney, who loves it when I say someone's name and go, y'all, at the end of it.
All right. And he's probably the only one, if he does.
He's probably got his shirt off.
All right. So he couldn't reach them by telephone. And then he was further alarmed after he knocked on the door and he didn't get an answer. So he called the police.
Okay, so the fat guy goes to the kitchen immediately. He's a fat chief that looking for donuts.
That's right.
They're supposed to be checking on this old couple, but he's looking for donuts instead.
So as he goes in there, something starts nagging at him.
Like a woman?
He would later recall the scene just didn't feel right.
Oh, I didn't mean to say that all women nag. Just
Yes.
you.
Uh-huh. So there's contradictory accounts of what happened next.
Oh.
Some say he saw food stacked on top of rather than inside the refrigerator, and that made him curious.
Huh.
Others say he was thirsty for a beer on a hot summer evening and wanted to see if there was anything to drink.
Just have a beer?
Yeah.
At somebody's house?
Bullock himself would say he peered inside the fridge for no particular reason. I don't know why I looked in the refrigerator, he said.
Except that I'm a fat guy.
For some reason, I just opened it.
Yeah, fat guy.
He took a quick inventory of its contents, which
Yeah.
appeared to be nothing but shelf after shelf of hog meat.
Okay, a lot of hog meat.
He concluded that Rogers' family must have been to the butcher recently. But with the house
no.
empty, it looked like it would spoil.
Uh-oh.
And he thought, what a shame. He thought someone is letting a whole bunch of good meat go to waste.
So I better help myself to some of this hog meat. And it's going to be people meat, isn't it?
But he starts to close the door when something catches his attention.
Yeah.
Inside the vegetable drawer
Yeah.
was what appeared to be a woman's head.
Oh, no.
Her eyes fixed on him. She was staring him right in the eyes.
She's looking at him, the crisper?
Yeah.
In the
from
crisper?
the crisper drawer.
Oh, no.
So he froze. He
I'm gonna
slams the
barf.
door. When he opens it again, head's still there. You know, he didn't
Like
really.
it wasn't a figment of his imagination.
That's right. So,
oh, man.
As you guessed, the hog meat was not hog meat.
Oh, I don't like this.
This was
one bit.
The dismembered remains of Fred and Edwina Rogers.
I am not a fan of this conversation, and if you are, there's something wrong with you.
So when the police and the medical examiner got to the house, they thought it was before he realized, they thought they were dealing with only one body.
Yeah.
And they pulled out the parts out of the fridge and laid them out on black plastic on top of the kitchen floor. That's when they realized they were two
That's
bodies.
not just one body. That's a lot of bodies. More than one head or still one head?
Two heads.
Two heads?
Two heads.
Two
His
heads
was
are
in the
better than
other
one.
drawer, like the meat drawer, I guess.
You know, they say two heads are better than one unless you're talking about dismembered heads in a refrigerator. That's
So
what they say.
the body
They
parts
say
had been drained of blood, and
Okay.
the entrails were missing.
Oh, where the entrails are hanging up in a
Your gut-
closet?
I thought you were asking what entrails are.
No, where are they?
We don't.
If
Well,
they're missing, they got to be somewhere.
Fred's
On walls,
eyes
hanging
had
from
also been gouged out.
Oh, huh.
So
So his eyes are gone completely? Like they're missing?
Yeah. Yep.
So somewhere we got to find the eyeballs and the entrails. Where
So
would I be?
The gruesomeness
If I
of
was
the crime
eyeballs.
scene would have been disturbing no matter what.
Yeah,
Making
that's
it slightly
disturbing.
worse was the fact that
Yes.
the autopsy showed the murders had been committed on Father's Day,
Oh, that's not a good day for a murder.
and the person most likely to know something about the horrific act was the elderly couple's son, Charles.
Oh, Charles. Oh, because he's a fucking weirdo.
Charles, unfortunately, was nowhere to be found.
No, he wasn't, huh?
Nope. So, Fred Rogers, let's give a little background on
Wait.
these two first.
Did you say Fred Rogers?
Yep. Fred and Edwina Rogers.
Mr. Rogers?
Nope, this is a different guy. Different Fred Rogers. This guy was born in 1884.
Oh.
He was 81. He was a retired real estate salesman, and he had a side job as a bookie.
Oh, a bookie, huh? Named Fred Rogers?
Yep. His wife, Edwina, was 79. She was a sales rep.
Oh.
Their Houston home and their activities appeared unremarkable to neighbors, but they had been fighting for decades. Like the two of them it was famous that they just didn't get along.
Oh.
They even had 2 separate refrigerators.
So maybe, and nothing was in the other refrigerator?
No, I think it was just the one.
So then maybe, if they didn't get along, maybe they murdered each other simultaneously.
And chop each other up.
Yes, and just instantly before the other one died.
But there was
Chop
a
each other.
surprise.
Yeah.
To local residents who would later be questioned by police. They were all surprised to know that Charles lived with them. In fact, he's the one that owned the house.
Oh, the son owned the house
Yes.
that they both lived in.
So
a little known rule in Texas, if you own a house that your parents live in, you are allowed to chop your parents up and put them in the fridge.
So Charles was 43, and he was a veteran of World War II.
So Charles was 43?
Yes, this
and a
is the
veteran?
son.
I'm 43.
He's a veteran of World War II.
I relate to this guy,
he
except I'm not a veteran of World War II.
After he had gotten a bachelor's degree in nuclear physics from the University of Houston,
I also have a bachelor's degree of physics.
and he had
University
enlisted
of
in the
Houston.
Navy and learned to fly planes.
I also have heard of planes.
He
and the
he
Navy.
became a seismologist and later spent 9 years working for the Shell Oil Company.
I also worked at a gas station.
At the time of his parents' death, it was not clear whether he was employed or not.
It's also unclear if I'm employed or not, often, to people.
Yes, that's true.
Just
Based
like
on
this
your
guy.
demeanor.
Hey!
So what was clear was that Charles was a peculiar individual.
He is a friggin' weirdo. I also
I'm a friggin' weirdo.
am a friggin' weirdo.
He would rise before dawn.
No, that's not right.
And he would leave the house to tend to unknown business before his parents woke up and then come back after dark after they went to bed.
Oh.
His travels were so subtle that the next door neighbor was not even aware he lived there. He was like a complete hermit.
Oh.
When he was home, he went out of his way to avoid his parents. He would,
Yeah,
and
that's normal, though.
They communicated by slipping notes underneath his bedroom door.
Ooh, sexy.
The family maid would later state that it was possible Edwina had not even seen Charles face to face for roughly 5 years prior to her death.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
No one was sure what led to this unusually frigid living arrangement. It's possible that Charles wanted to provide for his elderly parents in spite of either not getting along with them or wishing not to be disturbed by the outside world. But either way, it was now imperative that he answer questions about their gruesome fates. So when back to the chief Bullock,
Yeah.
when he's discovered the corpses, he and his partner Barda practically sprinted out of the house.
Barda?
Yep.
Is that a first name?
Police officer Barda.
Barda. How do you spell Barda?
Barta.
Oh, Barta.
So they
They
called.
sprinted out of the house. They're like, "Ugh,
Yeah, and they call investigators to the scene. They found the house had mostly been scrubbed clean. There was some blood in the bathroom where they believed the bodies had been cut up. And Charles's attic bedroom where there were trace amounts of blood, as well as a handsaw they believed had been used to perform the dismemberment.
This is a disgusting topic, and there's something wrong with you if you're listening.
The heads, torsos, and limbs were in the refrigerator.
Gross.
The entrails were found in the sewer system, apparently having been flushed down the toilet.
Oh, I guess you would flush the entrails. When dismembering a body, you would flush the entrails.
Other body parts were missing and never found.
But he was going to eat
No,
their bodies? Is that why he had them in the fridge?
nobody knows what, but he's just gone. I doubt it. I don't think he was eating them. I think he was putting them there so they wouldn't smell until they were, I don't know what he was going to do. Because he had to know they would be found, so I don't know what he was thinking. So thinking about the labor involved in draining the bodies and carving them up and cleaning the home,
Yeah.
police thought the killer had taken his or her time and had a working knowledge of human anatomy.
Must be.
Autopsies revealed that Edwina had died as a result of a single gunshot to the head,
Oh.
though that weapon was never found.
Huh.
Fred had gotten the worst of it. He'd been beaten to death with a claw hammer, his eyes plucked out and his genitals severed from his torso in what was seemingly a
Whoa.
vindictive mutilation.
That would be painful and awful.
A claw hammer was found on the premises, though police would not confirm whether any fingerprints were retrieved.
I can say I prefer to never have my genitals removed with a claw hammer.
If there was any evidence, authorities wanted to discuss this with Charles. They issued an all-points bulletin, an APB,
Put an APB out for a guy with a claw hammer and just remove somebody's scrotum.
And they launched a nationwide search. And the only presumably living member of the household, his insights, if not his confession, would prove invaluable.
Yeah.
Because he knew how to fly, authorities checked nearby airfields to see if anyone matching his description had left in the area by plane.
Learning to fly.
But nothing turned up. Because he was so reclusive, he left virtually no trail for them to follow. Captain L.D. Morrison, head of the local homicide bureau, told reporters the habits and manners of the missing son are major mysteries. It was an understatement. Police never located Charles, not in the weeks, months, or years that followed.
Wait, they never found him?
Nope. In 1975, in an effort to probate the Rogers estate, he was declared legally dead.
But they never found his body or anything?
Nope.
Huh.
So this is one of Houston's goriest murders, and it would become one of the most notorious unsolved cases.
They don't even know where he went.
But
and they're sure his body wasn't in there too.
Yep. But there's other people that have stepped forward and offered their theories about what may have transpired.
I would like to hear some of these theories now.
Some are outlandish, using the blank canvas of the crime scene to try and attach deeper meaning to Charles's life.
Okay.
The 1992 book The Man on the Grassy Knoll by author John R. Craig and Philip A. Rogers offered that they thought Charles was actually a CIA operative involved in the 1963 assassination of John F. Kennedy.
JFK.
Yes.
Everything is involved with JFK. It could be.
When his parents discovered incriminating diary entries, Charles had to kill them, is what they theorized.
Well, this was in Houston, right?
Well, and here's the funny thing. He did know. Do you remember? Did I write it down here?
Yeah, we talked about somebody else.
David Ferry, or remember that
Ferry
guy?
And the other one. There was a couple of them, I thought.
David Ferry knew this Charles guy.
Oh, okay.
And they were in the Air Force together.
That's messed up.
So that was one of the major connections.
Really? So, how could all these people, all who are connected to each other, all be serial killers and murderers and stuff?
And then there was
something's not right.
There was a 2003 book called The Icebox Murders that was written by forensic accountants and amateur sleuths, Hugh and Martha Gardner. And they made an attempt to present a more plausible theory. They agreed that Charles was the killer, but his motive was not the result of CIA involvement. Instead, the Gardners argued that Fred and Edwina were abusive and manipulative parents.
Oh, that could
and
be.
they would do everything from take loans out against their son's home to forging his signature on deeds.
And they just pushed him over the edge.
To other property he owned. So after years of being browbeaten and financially ripped off, he lashed out, smashing his father's head in.
With a claw hammer?
And his mother had gotten
his
comparatively compassionate execution-style killing.
Yikes.
That it might indicate most of the abuse came from Dad.
I didn't know there was such a thing as a forensic
accountant. I know. I didn't either.
Like, we can even make forensics boring.
So in 1968... an item in the paper ran with information initially withheld from the public.
Oh.
A few days after the murders, someone matching Charles's physical description was overheard asking about a job overseas using an alias.
Really?
He seemed nervous and said he was a welder, and then Charles's then girlfriend worked in the office and was going to sneak him a getaway car.
Oh, he had a girlfriend.
They claim that Charles utilized his contacts in the oil and mining industries to land in Mexico. And this book, The Icebox Murders, also asserts that Charles met a violent end of his own when a wage dispute involving some miners in Honduras ended with a pickaxe lodged in his head.
Ooh, that's painful.
Yep. So we don't know. There's no concrete evidence that Charles wound up in Central America.
Well, looks like we got American Timelines History for Jerks. Got to get on this. We got to take a break for a few months to investigate and solve this murder.
Because he did at one point own his own plane.
Oh.
Fleeing Houston via aircraft seems plausible. And with the Shell Oil job taking him to Canada and Alaska, it's also possible he had contacts in another country and could have made setting up a new life easier.
Easy way to solve this. We just look for the plane. That's all we have to do.
So it's unlikely. It's unlikely this case will ever be solved.
No. The History for Jerks is going to solve this. We're going to Honduras right now.
So if Charles Rogers did not commit the crimes, then why did he disappear?
Charles Rogers was also a wide receiver for the Detroit Lions.
No one else appeared to have motive to kill his parents. If he was killed by an unknown third party, the perpetrator did an excellent job removing all traces of him.
A third party like Ross Perot.
Whether he ended up in Central America or somewhere else, The most likely explanation is that he spent the rest of his days doing what he'd so often practiced at 815 Driscoll, disappearing into the shadows unnoticed by the rest of the world.
Oh, that's a nice way to end it. Who wrote that?
I think that was from Mental Floss.
Mental Floss, yeah.
And I also got some stuff from the podcast Criminal, which is a really good podcast.
It is a great podcast. And Mental Floss is a website?
Website, yes. It is a website that has like little articles about different stuff. So that was the Icebox Murders.
The Icebox Murders, y'all.
That's back when people
Brian
called them
McCartney,
iceboxes.
Yeah, I still call it icebox.
No, you do not.
I do, and I say I'm going to put my slacks on the Davenport.
No, you don't.
And one
and
more
the filling
time
station
for Brian McCartney. Brian McCartney, y'all.
All right, stop.
He loves it. Okay, hold on. Let me. We have one more thing to finish.
Oh, we do.
June.
Better hurry it up, Larry.
We got one more thing to finish. We'll finish out June because I like to start.
That's true.
On a
it's
month,
just easier.
You know, on so we remember where we were. One more thing, and it's Saturday. Oh, actually, two more things. Shoot, Saturday.
Make 'em quick.
I'll make them quick. This is the last thing I can't skip because it's great. Saturday, June 26, 1965, we got a new #1 song on the Billboard charts written by Bob Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
Releases the first track.
Oh, Mr. Tambourine Man.
This song's popularity led to Dylan recording it live many times.
Mm-hmm.
But this is by the Byrds.
Yeah, that's right.
But this has been recorded by many other artists. Judy Collins, Stevie Wonder, blah, 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 blee, blee, blue, blah, 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 blah. There was some speculation that this song is about drugs, probably because it's Bob Dylan, but particularly with a line such as, "Take me on a trip upon your magic swirling ship," and "Smoke rings of my mind." But Dylan has denied the song is about drugs. Though he was smoking marijuana at the time the song was written, Dylan was not introduced to LSD until a few months later.
Okay.
But let's get to this next thing.
All right.
This is a great story.
Okay.
I don't know if you know about this. You probably don't. Sunday, June 27th, 1965, according to The Vintage News, a website, Johnny Cash accidentally started a wildfire that destroyed over 500 acres and killed 49 endangered condors.
I didn't know that
I don't
happened.
know why I'm laughing. It's terrible.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But Johnny Cash killed 49 endangered condors. What's funny is what his quote is at the end. So let me read this real quick.
Okay.
His camper caught fire during a fishing trip with his nephew Damon Fielder in Los Padres National Forest in California, triggering a forest fire that burned several hundred acres and nearly killed Johnny Cash. Cash claimed that the fire was caused by sparks from a defective exhaust system on his camper, but Fielder thinks that Cash started a fire to stay warm and his drugged-up condition failed to notice the fire getting out of control. When the judge asked Cash why he did it, Cash said, "I didn't do it, my truck did, and it's dead, so you can't question it." The fire destroyed 508 acres.
Oh, my God.
Burning the foliage off 3 mountains and driving off 49 of the refuge's 53 endangered condors. Cash was unrepentant and claimed, "I don't care about your damn yellow buzzards."
Oh, my God.
The federal government sued him and was awarded $125,172.
It's not very much.
But in 2016 dollars, it's $939, $914. Cash eventually
$939,914.
$939,914.
Oh, you missed 1,000.
Did I not say that?
No, you
Sorry.
didn't.
Cash eventually settled. He was awarded $125,172. I don't know why it's so specific.
He's awarded that?
No, the federal government sued him and was awarded.
And was awarded that.
$125,000.
Who cares?
Which is about $940,000 now.
Okay.
Cash eventually settled the case and paid $82,000. He said he was the only person ever sued by the government for starting a forest fire.
Oh, that's funny.
Yep. And we're going to leave this episode.
That's right.
With the forest fires blazing, and Johnny Cash not giving a shit about the damn yellow buzzards because it's time to get out of here.
Get out of here, Chuck Berry. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Charles Berry. Yeah, I appreciate those of you who listen, and those of you who don't, fuck you.
All right. Gotta go.
I love you.
Bye.
Seriously, I love you. I love you. More than a friend, I'll kiss you. I ain't afraid to kiss a dude.
When you were all along the watchtower, kissing the sky, well, I was barely a glimmer in my young daddy's eye. I said that we're so tired of hearing about the 60s. One more time, I said we're so tired of hearing about the 60s. Well, make me shut my mouth.
American Timelines is a member of the Queen City Podcast Network, powered by Ortho Carolina. Find out more at queencitypodcastnetwork.com.
Samantha, that's a hickey.